of government that violate traffic rules, it's rare that you see FRSC do
so
that.
it happens, but it's rare.
Yeah, it's rare.
It's the police all the time.
Police is normal. It's a normal thing for police. Now, if you see an FRSC vehicle drive against the traffic, there is a crash and the road is congested, blocked, they can't get there, and they take that route to go do that. That's because they are going for a rescue. But all other traffic offenses, I am an eye that monitors them and I fight if necessary.
I agree with you.
Mr. Adenusi, now, once upon a time, we didn't use seat belts in Nigeria. They were just fancy in the car. But now, at least in the front seat, by law, we must all use the seat belts. Now, in other climes,
with the back seat too, by law.
Advocacy has started that even those sitting in the back seats must wear seat belts. And we have seen and read of a number of cases where that has saved the lives of the passengers sitting in the back. Do you think that this should also be made law in Nigeria?
Yeah, the law already exists. The usage of seatbelt, it didn't restrict it to the passengers in the front alone. It is that the campaign, when the FRSC started the campaign on the usage of seatbelt, they focused on the two occupants in the front.
Okay.
Now, the truth is, if you are sitting at the back, you become a weapon of mass destruction to the people in the front if there is any stoppage, because they will fly. And just crashing into the head of the person who is ahead can kill the person who is actually wearing the seatbelt.
Okay.
The person behind will sustain injury. The likelihood of death is lesser if he doesn't go out through the glass. Now, you see, the usage of seatbelts is extremely excellent. The people who design the vehicles, they have done series of tests, they have done series of crash tests, and they knew that everyone should be strapped in the vehicle. But you see, today, initially we were using it as luxury. Initially, the few people who wore seatbelt in those days, I mean, in the early 80s, I didn't have driver's license, so I just wear my seatbelt, and nobody stopped me until I eventually went to get my driver's license. You know, but now people still do. You see, but I think FRSC now should take the campaign, because at the United Nations meetings, we have 10 years, which is a decade of action that started 2011. Ending 2020, that there must be reduction in the daily death of 3,500 reported. Across the world, 3,500 people are reportedly killed. It is more than that, because the figure that we are posting does not even tally with that at all. But as long as the United Nations, one of the pillars, says safer road users, that is also one of the model that we should embrace. So advocacy should be strong, enforcement should follow. That I mean, some of these high-profile crashes that we hear, some of them should be alive today if they wore seatbelts. But you know, apart from FRSC, there is no agency of government that their personnel wear seatbelts, whether in the front or at the back. I have spoken to several police personnel. They tell me, we are police officers. I said, look, this vehicle does not recognize you. Your safety is key.
But even when they sit at the back of the truck, there's no seatbelt there.
Well, those are utility vehicles for emergency services. So,
what about downforce?
Yeah, well, you see, if we look at the vehicles that we use for mass transit here, they are not designed for such purposes. A lot of them were designed for goods. And now we bring those vehicles here and construct seats and put seats in them. But if you look at the ones that came with the seat, each of them had seat belts. If it is not manufactured for Nigeria, because there are two issues. There are vehicles that are manufactured for Nigeria, they don't meet basic standard. I'm telling you, I'm the one saying it.
We should try and stop things like that.
Well, let me come in here. The issue of seatbelts. The former honorable commissioner is fully aware of the effort. Everybody is aware of the effort that
it's one of the most successful campaigns.
Yes, campaign.
It is.
Before now, it was even difficult for somebody in the front seat to wear seatbelts. We will now begin a point of duty that campaign must go on day in, day out. We will not only stop at the front seat passenger and the driver.
Now moving to the back.
Now you move it to the back now. We are doing that every day. So I want to advise you. You should not only talk here on the television that we are discussing now. People listening to us at home, those not even listening to us now, should be informed that it is mandatory for you. When once you're inside the vehicle, if the vehicle is in motion, they must wear seat belts.
Front or back?
Front or back.
Let me just make this. I just gave him a document. 80% of vehicles in this part of the world don't meet safety standards. So sometimes somebody wants to wear seat belt at the back, but it is not.
It's not there anymore.
In the vehicle. You recall when this FRSC campaign, the B campaign, that was around the 1998, 2000 started about seat belt. A lot of vehicles on Nigerian roads don't have seat belts in the front. People have to start building seat belts into them. There are some vehicles, when you open them and close, the seat belt comes. You know, they've
automatically, yes.
They found that is not even safe, but that's the one you want to buy. When you want to buy a vehicle. So we also need to understand some of these things we talk. There is a safer vehicle portion of it. Our vehicles too are not safe. We import used vehicles
even
into
the
this
new
country.
ones, even the new ones.
Like I said, even the new one, but the way the world is making, that's why I talk of the safer system approach. Don't blame any individual. Take responsibility. So we all have to take, the government must also start putting policies and legislations on the kind of vehicles that must be brought into the country. So if I bring a vehicle that doesn't have a back seat belt, and there is a law that says you must use your back seat. You see, and the vehicle was cleared at the port. So there's an assumption that I will spend the money.
Right
now,
hand
let's go to the next.
By the same token, Mr. Kwaifa, there's a law that disallows right-hand drive cars from coming into this country. But they're coming. There's certain places in Lagos where the only job they do is to convert those vehicles.
What I'm trying to say is that my own approach now, and I want you in the media to take that approach, is a safer system approach. We stop putting blames. We start taking responsibility. Let the media take its own part of the responsibility. Let the agencies, the lead agency in Nigeria, let them continue to take responsibility for every accident that occurs. Let them take that. We must have done something wrong for that accident to occur. What is it that made that accident to occur that we didn't see before it happened? Let me tell you. You see those lane marking on Lagos roads? They were not just done for fun. They've reduced deaths. Pavement marking, road signs. So instead of blaming people for driving stupidly, changing lanes anyhow, you go and put a lane mark there.
Mr. Kwaifa, talking about
when you put a lane mark, the people will learn that, you know, even if he doesn't know what the lane mark is all about, after a while, like you do in the nursery school, primary school, Montessori, you will come to understand that these things are not for jokes. So we
Mr.
must
Kwaifa,
develop
the markings on the road. There's this checkered yellow box.
The offside road.
Offside
road, which is supposed to, so someone said it's supposed to mean that when you see one person in there, you wait.
That's right.
But these days you get to a point and you find people just jumping
there
in there.
There should be no car in the offside.
Let's get it right. When you see the offside road, is a shortcut to not doing the right thing. The right thing is to have signal lights.
No, there's signal lights there.
Wait. I'm coming. The right thing is to have signal lights. Now, there is no yellow box rules in our rule books. The police will tell you when they misbehave and you try to correct them. Now, what you need to know is a lot of people, when we get into traffic situation, we go into the wrong situation. We get anxious to just move. We start doing things the wrong way, but a lot of people still do obey those. What I'm trying to say is that I'm still going to my safe system as a government, as FRSC, as agencies. I will not be too much concerned that they are not obeying. I will be so much concerned why they are not obeying and do things that will make them. So I will put a sign before the yellow box. Don't forget, go and check our
record.
You may not see yellow box in there. It's an introduction by Ikeja local government, I believe in the 90s. Somebody brought it from. And we have seen that it saves life. It saves congestion.
What's this supposed to be?
What it's supposed to do is that, you know, in the US we have the stop signs.
Yes.
If you put stop sign here, you see them on the road.
No, we have
they are wrongly used here.
They are not even using it.
They will keep people. So the
We
UK,
don't even
because
know
we
what
don't
the
know how
stop
to use
sign
it.
is.
If you can't pass a stop sign, you don't get a driver license.
That's right.
Stop signs means when you get there, you stop, look right, look left. The first person to get there moves.
Yeah.
That's in the absence of a traffic
Light.
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 We use it where we have traffic light to warn you that
indeed, the stop
there's
sign
a stop.
says when you are approaching any point where you see a stop sign, slow
stop.
down, stop.
Stop.
For at
Complete
least
stop.
30 seconds. Isn't it?
Complete stop.
Yeah.
Complete
I don't know
stop.
exactly
Doesn't
what's
matter how long.
But let me get back to this issue of that yellow. So what the same thing the yellow box does. When you get to a yellow box, you must stop and make sure you are the first to get there before you move. If you are not the first, everybody that gets there before you must go. And it means no two vehicles
I'll stop
must
there.
be in the
box.
box
At
at
the
it's a
same
safety
time.
box. Now there are education. Then it comes back to the use of road users. The people who are driving, who have taken driving as a profession, they needed to be treated as professionals. They need to get themselves to become professional. And that is why in Lagos, my driver, your driver, his driver, Channel's driver, Governor Ampode Akiumi's driver, must go to the Driver Institute on a yearly basis. Now, the driver license ought to have been enough for me and you. But for them,